How's it? Welcome to episode 9 of Lessons from the Best, Holistic Insights, Tips, and Tricks to Improve Your Golf. It's a book I wrote alongside Jim Saiter of Back 9 Publishing. And if you haven't heard or you haven't seen it, it's basically just a culmination of some of the best podcasts from my On the Mark podcast. And we have a litany of stars included in this book. Bryson DeChambeau, Fred Couples, David Ledbetter, Bob Rotella, Mike Adams, Bill Harmon, Bob Winters, Butch Harmon, Colin Morikawa. The list goes on. And this book, suffice to say, is chock full of nuggets and quotes from all of these great guests of mine that are sure to help you improve your game. Now, chapter 11 is from a golf instructor named Karl Morris, who lives over in the United Kingdom, and he tried golf, professional golf, and here's a quote. I want to read this to you. He goes, I had a go as a tour player many years ago and was spectacularly unsuccessful with that. I initially went down the route of trying to search out technical perfection, which was a long, dark tunnel I had never really emerged from. So great quotes, lots of insights here from Karl Morris. He has got a podcast of his own, has written a number of books, and I gravitate to him because of just the wisdom, not just the knowledge, but the insights, the wisdom that he shares, that he possesses. And he is so successful. He's sought out by a number of Europe's best golfers, Lee Westwood, Louis Oosthuizen, and Darren Clark, Graham McDowell, Paul McKinley, Ian Woosnam. His podcast is called The Mind Factor. Anyhow, let's share some insights from Karl. I want to start with this. This is not the quote we're going to learn from here in episode 9, but I want to read this from Karl. He says, it's stripping away some of the complexity of the game of golf. We're drowning in information, but searching for wisdom. Now, to tee us off, I could not think of anything more appropriate in the age in which we live. I mean, you just switch on the internet, hit your browser, type golf instruction, golf tips, whatever the case might be, and you can drown in information. The wisdom comes from being aware of what actually pertains to you, what you must do to get the most out of your game. And so that's where the wisdom comes in. And I feel like this quote I'm about to share will certainly help you in that endeavor. And this is Karl. The golf club ideally should be like an extension of your body. Tiger Woods is as great a player because he had such an awareness of where the golf club is in space at any given time. I love hearing him, this is Tiger, talk about the different shots that he played. He'll give them little names, pop-ups, stingers, and all these different kinds of names that he has for golf shots. And his ability to produce those shots comes from his awareness of where the golf club is. And as Fred Schumacher, legendary golf instructor, always said, it's far more important to know where the golf club is than where it should be. So Karl's making the point here that the golf club should be like an extension of your body. Now, if you had to just stop there and take a pause and go, does the golf club feel like an extension to my body? I'm sure a lot of you would be like, heck no. Well, therein lies the challenge. And this gets to another quote he made, and I get ahead of myself, but this is how much there is in here. This is Karl before he gives a lesson and giving advice to lesson takers, students. He goes, fundamentally, you can ask 2 questions. When you play golf, when you're struggling, you can ask the question, what is wrong with my swing? Or you can ask the question, what is wrong with my shots? If you ask the first question, what's wrong with your swing, you'll get a bunch of answers from a lot of different people. And a lot will sound really good and cool and technical, and there may be some science thrown at you. Or you can ask the question, what's wrong with my shots? And then you can start to get deep into, how do I produce better golf shots? How can I understand what I need to do to apply the club in a certain way to produce less fade or more draw, to send it higher or to send it lower, whatever. And I think there can be a marvelous collaboration between the player and the coach if it comes back to improving shots. So that's where I want to get back to the original quote that I build this lesson on, that comes from Karl, where he goes, the golf club should be like an extension to your body. And if you can start to think like that, I feel like it's going to really help you, because you're an athlete deep down. I don't care what level of the game you play at. Like if I said to you, here's the club, and I want you to imagine that the club's an airplane, and Karl draws this parallel inside this chapter. And I said to you, okay, land that airplane, the golf club, smoothly in the middle of your stance, making a swing. You'd get a sense right away how you have to organize yourself to make that happen. If you get too steep, you're going to crash the airplane. If you stand up prematurely, you're not going to touch down. If you tilt excessively at the wrong time, you're going to land in the wrong place. So if you get into that mindset and you just start to get aware of, okay, how does this club interact with the ground? Where does it interact with the ground? And then most importantly, what do I, as the supporter of this club, have to do to land this airplane correctly? Then all of a sudden, I feel like you're getting to the place where the golf club is becoming an extension of you. And this is in response to, or in contrast to, like trying to organize your wrists and trying to turn your shoulders and all this kind of stuff, which you could be doing correctly, but you may not be getting better shots. You could be doing everything you want, from wrist flexion to pivot to body flexion or extension. You could use the ground properly, but if the club's not landing in the right place, if it's not an extension of your body, you are not going to hit the golf ball better. Sorry, just how it is. As the great Mo Norman once said, a golf ball is dead. The golf club is dead. They got no feelings. They got no emotions. Bill Harmon, I've talked about this in my podcast, said that the downswing is not like a meeting of the minds. It's how you apply the club to the golf ball. So I want you to start to think about that. When you work on your game, get into shot creation. You can go to the range and say, okay, for the next few 5-irons, I'm going to just land the 5-iron in the correct spot. And if you get that down, then you can start to say, okay, now I'm going to land it a bit more closed so I can draw the ball. Or conversely, I'm going to land it in the right place with a face a touch more open so I can fade it. And then all of a sudden, you will become one with your golf club. And I know it sounds easy, and a lot of you are going, oh, please, Mark. The reality is that's simple. That all of these things we talk about, and I do because I'm a golf teacher, we can talk about all these moves, these things in the body, the things that we have to do to organize the club face. But if you are not in the mindset where you are aware of the club face, you are not going to be able to hit the shot you need. And like Fred Shoemaker said in this quote, it's far more important to know where the club is than where it should be. Because how many times have you taken a lesson and you might have gotten on a launch monitor, flight scope, whatever it is, and you're like, well, I need to be doing this, but you have got no idea where the club actually is. So your spatial relation is all up to whack. So that's the thing. Remember, the ball's going to go differently and better if you apply the club to it better. And in the end, there's just 4 messages you give the golf club. Where's the face aligned? Where's the path traveling towards? Where's the club landing? How steeply is it interacting with the ground? And what's the speed of the golf club? You get those 4 things arranged, you're on your way to better shots. But if you're turning and tilting and doing all sort of stuff because you saw this on the internet and the club's not manifesting, I'm sorry, you're not going to hit better golf shots. It's as simple as that. So start to think of the club being like an extension of your body. Go and give it a try. Start with landing the golf club first, in the right place. Then start with landing the club and organizing the club face in terms of open to closed. Then go from there, because face is king over path to me. Go from, okay, land the right place, face better. Now let's get the path a bit more appropriate. get those, you're on your way. Then just a dash of speed and the ball will go more powerfully. But if you're trying to add speed and you're not hitting it squarely, or if you're trying to add speed and the face isn't square, all the speed in the world is going to amount to that much. So as Karl said, try and get the club to be an extension of your body. Be aware of where it is in space. Your golf shots will improve if you adopt that mantra and that mindset and you just stick to it. It's a super book. It's a great gift for your favorite golfer or for yourself. You might be your favorite golfer. You should be. You can go to back9press.com/Immelman and get your copy there. Keep playing great golf. This will help you.